joining us on the walk. Doing these walks started out as nothing more than a crazy idea. Like we were talking about, our journey started like everybody with a simple action or a simple step that lit a fire in us. When we were making this record, we were inspired to go to Africa, not because we just thought, wow, we just want to fly across Africa, but because we had a personal connection with people we respected in our hometown, right in the middle of America, in Tulsa, and had this realization that we, especially as a whole generation of people, as our age group, we often think, as connected as we are and as able as we are to network with one another, that really we don't have a role to play in making an impact on the world. And for that matter, things that aren't right in front of us, they aren't really our problem. I think it's really interesting. One of the things we've done on these walks is people clapping. Yeah. Every city you walk in is different. Every place you go, you take your shoes off, you think, okay, well, today the streets are kind of nice. Today, maybe the next day the streets are covered in glass or gravel or rocks or dirt. And it brings home why we take our shoes off. If you look at what's going on in Africa, we think, well, is that really our problem? Is that really something that is going to ring true to us? Well, believe me, history has never ever seen a disease like AIDS wipe out a whole generation of the working class. You see parents, young parents, people that are in school, people that are the engine of society that are dying, parents of little children. It's not the very weak and the very old that are dying. It's people that are in their prime. It's you guys in Africa and all over the world. There's these questions about, well, what's really our problem? What's really, what's the problem of, what are the things that we actually need to be involved in? It's interesting to me that we spend so much time on Facebook or MySpace or whatever it is we do. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if you could imagine just a very, very, very small percentage of the energy that we spend doing average things, what kind of impact we could make on huge issues, it's pretty staggering. When we started this thing, one of the things that one of the partnerships that we struck was a partnership with a shoe company. Does anybody have Tom's shoes? Anybody have Tom's? Okay, there's some Tom's here. Awesome. Tom's Shoes is a great example for us, for all of us. They're a shoe company that started their business with the idea of giving. It wasn't, how do we give back later? How do we find a way to make a difference someday when we're successful? It was, let's give back with everything we do. When you buy a pair of their shoes, they donate a second pair. When we started these walks, we said, let's do something that we can all connect on. Everybody needs that push. Everybody needs that reminder that they have the power to make a difference. So let's invite people to take a 1-mile walk. Let's just say, let's walk together. We'll talk about it. And invite you to take off your shoes and realize the power of even a pair of shoes to make an impact. Through the tour, we've surpassed this goal now, far past it, but last year the first goal was to help Tom sell 50,000 pairs of shoes to be donated. 50,000 pairs to be donated. And amazingly, because of the commitment of so many fans all over the country, we were able to help Tom do that. 50,000 pairs. What's so powerful about that is it's not lots of people, buying 1,000 here and then somebody else bought several hundred pairs. It's 50,000 individuals buying one by one, maybe buying 2, maybe buying 3. And when we were in Africa in November after the tour, we sat there with kids that walk 10 kilometers a day just to get to school, if they're lucky enough to get to school, and sit with a 5-year-old boy who literally you couldn't hardly see his foot because it was so calloused. 10 kilometers a day just to get to school and then back again. So we're here walking in Allentown going, hey, I'm walking a mile, I don't want to take my shoes off. Ooh, it's kind of nasty. Get over yourself. It's not a big deal. And, this is not about guilt, and this is not about us trying to talk about these distant things that don't matter to us because we're in a band and bands talk about random stuff that you can't, that just because we're in a band and we have a pedestal. This is talking about us as individuals, us as all average people, all feeling unempowered. We all feel unempowered, but truly, you guys, history is only going to ask a few questions about our generation, and what's going on in Africa is going to be one of those things where they say, what happened there? Why didn't we become a part of the solution? something? And why didn't we make friends around the world by reaching out and really healing people that needed our help? A pair of shoes for a 5-year-old kid that walks 10 kilometers a day to go to school and has never received a single brand new piece of clothing, believe me, that changes his life. And that will inspire and encourage. And when we look at our cell phones and our cameras and the shoes that we have piled up in our closet and the things that we do every day, we have the opportunity to say, you know what could we do, just one little step that's going to make an impact on these issues. And you guys, the walk is really about saying, how can we look at the basic things that we do? How can we understand basic needs that we think don't really matter? And recognize our power to truly become an incredibly powerful generation, a generation to be reckoned with, a group of people that, when unified behind something, are just completely unstoppable. We've walked a lot of really dirty streets. Today is 64 miles that we've walked across the country. That's pretty cool. It's not, it's just the beginning for us. We figure that we could be walking until we have ZZ Top beards at this point. Not that we'd ever have those. We're Danish still. But you guys make it possible for this to continue. And this is not about an awareness thing. This is about action. This is about how we as individuals, not the people that are watching us, but the people that are here walking today, can make a decision and recognize their power. You guys are incredible. Just the fact that you showed up. This is about showing up. This is about coming early. This is about taking your shoes off. This is about just being here and being present. That's the best you can ask. You're not supposed to go and change the world and go hug trees and go be a bleeding heart. You're supposed to live actively and be a great influence on others by what you do. And today you guys already are. It's really amazing. Thank you so much for joining us this far. We're going to go down to 11th. I'm going to come back when I finish our mile. I want to invite you guys again, the ones that did take your shoes off. This is not a guilt trip, but I would just like to say I think you're kind of wimps, but So I invite you to take your shoes off. Let's finish this mile. What do you guys say?